Hollywood careers don't follow a straight line. Every actor you know in Hollywood starts as a name no one knows, climbs to fame, and eventually faces the echo of their own legacy. So today, we're breaking down the 7 stages of a Hollywood career. Stage 1, the dreamer phase. This is the invisible stage. It's commercials, student films, one-line TV parts, and endless callbacks that lead nowhere. The actors here are unknown to the world, but known to struggle, eating rejection for breakfast and clinging to the smallest sign of progress. It's where Tom Hanks once stood, long before Big or Forrest Gump. Back then, he was just another sitcom hopeful, starring in the short-lived Bosom Buddies and taking bit parts that hinted at charm but not yet greatness. And even earlier, he had appeared as the character Elliot in the 1980 slasher film He Knows You're Alone. There was no guarantee he'd become one of Hollywood's most beloved figures, only an idea, an instinct that maybe, just maybe, he could. And it's not only actors that go through this stage. Actress Brie Larson spent over a decade stuck in the margins. Nickelodeon sitcoms, short-lived pilots, and supporting roles. For years, she was the almost star, almost famous, almost recognized, almost there. Only with Short-Term 12 did audiences finally see what Hollywood had ignored, a complete actor hiding inside a forgotten resume. Every actor who survives this stage learns the same truth. Talent isn't enough, endurance is. The dreamer phase isn't about fame, it's about faith. The faith that if they keep showing up, the right role will find them. Unfortunately, 90% of the actors in this stage never progress beyond it, but they know that one audition, one role, can pull them out of the shadows and into the spotlight of the next stage. Stage 2, the breakout. The breakout stage is every actor's dream moment, the overnight transformation from who is that to get me that guy. It's a stage where years of invisibility finally pay off with one career-defining role. The right part, the right time, the right performance, and suddenly they exist. Hollywood starts calling. The public remembers their name. Heath Ledger hit the stage with A Knight's Tale in 2001. The Australian newcomer had spent years in small roles and teen comedies before the breakout performance made him a leading man overnight. There's also Margot Robbie, who stole The Wolf of Wall Street from Leonardo DiCaprio with a single slap and a Brooklyn accent that turned her into Hollywood's next obsession. But that fast, our rise comes with a built-in trap. The industry doesn't just celebrate you, it starts shaping you. Studios rushed to cast her as the bombshell, but instead, she built a production company to take control of her own narrative, a rare move for someone barely out of their first breakout. For Heath Ledger, overnight fame brought bigger scripts and even bigger expectations. Still, Ledger resisted being typecast as a romantic hero, an instinct that would later lead him toward darker, riskier work. Can you guess the work? Then there's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who had a similar evolution. After the third rock from the sun, he disappeared from Hollywood for nearly 5 years, re-emerging with Brick, a micro-budget noir that forced critics to see him as more than a child actor. That one film reframed his entire career, proving that reintroduction can be just as powerful as discovery. Actors in this stage often confuse recognition with permanence. The industry doesn't offer stability. It offers a window. Some crash through it, like Macaulay Culkin, who could never shed the Home Alone halo, or get thrown out after, like Taylor Lautner, whose Twilight breakout became both his rise and fall. Because in Hollywood, the minute the world learns your name, it starts deciding what kind of actor you're allowed to be. And that is something I don't personally agree with. This is why the next stage is the biggest hurdle actors that chase GOAT status have to pass. Stage 3, the typecast phase. Every breakout actor eventually hits this wall. Hollywood loves a formula, and once it finds one that sells, you become it. The same smirk, the same archetype, the same dialogue recycled through a slightly different movie poster. You're not an artist anymore, you're a brand. This is the typecast trap, the stage where the industry stops asking who you are and starts asking, how many copies of you can we sell? You've proven you can make money, and that's the worst kind of success, profitable predictability. Matthew McConaughey lived here for almost a decade. After The Wedding Planner and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, he was the rom-com king, charming accent, six-pack abs, shirtless by minute 15. He made millions, but he was becoming a punchline. Hollywood stopped taking him seriously, and audiences stopped expecting anything new. Then came what McConaughey later called the unbranding. He disappeared for 2 years, turned down every formulaic script, and came back with The Lincoln Lawyer, Killer Joe, and Dallas Buyers Club. The result? The McConaissance. A total reinvention born not from success, but from silence. Robert Pattinson's story runs parallel. Twilight made him a global icon, but it also trapped him in amber. He was Edward Cullen, forever the sparkly vampire. So what did he do? He nuked his own image. He went indie, Good Time, The Lighthouse, and High Life, roles that confused fans but converted critics. And when The Batman came around, Pattinson wasn't just back, he was reborn. Chris Hemsworth is still fighting the stage. As Thor, he's untouchable. But outside Marvel, it's complicated. Extraction showed his physical presence still commands screens. But Ghostbusters and Men in Black International proved how easily studios revert to that same muscle-bound goofball formula. The typecast trap is comfort dressed up as success. It feels safe until it's not. Because in Hollywood, the moment the industry decides who you are, it stops caring who you could be. And here's the real question. When the machine only wants one version of you, do you keep feeding it, or do you risk everything to break free? Because for the rare few who escape this stage, something incredible begins. Freedom. Stage 4, the star stage. This is it, the summit, the place every actor dreams of reaching, but few ever do. The star stage. At this level, you don't audition, you attract. Scripts bend around your schedule. Studios build franchises around your name. One smile, one headline, one weekend box office, and suddenly the entire industry revolves around you. Stars aren't just actors anymore. They're gravitational forces. They pull projects, audiences, and entire marketing budgets into orbit. Their names alone can greenlight a film. They don't chase roles anymore. Roles chase them. Tom Cruise is a perfect representation of this stage. When Cruise headlines a movie, it's not just a release, it's an event. He doesn't just play heroes, he redefines what movie heroism looks like. Hanging off planes, sprinting across rooftops, or learning to fly fighter jets for Top Gun, Maverick. You can't fake that kind of commitment. Cruise built an empire on discipline and danger, proving that in an age of CGI, authenticity is still the ultimate stunt. Will Smith owned this same energy in the late 90s and 2000s. Independence Day, Men in Black, I Am Legend. He wasn't just starring in blockbusters, he was the blockbuster. His brand of charisma could sell humor, heart, and heroism all in a single scene. For almost 2 decades, he was the closest thing Hollywood had to guaranteed success. And honestly, who else could pull off that balance of charm and swagger quite like him? Then there's early Leonardo DiCaprio, the ultimate case study in strategic stardom. After Titanic, he could have coasted as the eternal heartthrob, but he didn't. He turned fame into leverage. Every movie he chose, Catch Me If You Can, The Departed, Inception, redefined what kind of star he wanted to be. His stardom wasn't luck, it was planned. The star stage represents command, control, and charisma perfected. It's the era where fame feels invincible until it isn't, because no matter how high you climb, the spotlight doesn't stay still forever. And here's the real test. When the glow starts to fade, do you protect the fame or risk it all for the craft? Because the ones who dare to evolve, the artists, are waiting in the next stage. Stage 5, the artistic stage. This is where the real ones separate from the legends in waiting. Some actors get tired of fame's spotlight, the red carpets, the press junkets, the safe roles. Others realize that after years of being seen, they've stopped being real, and that's when they start craving something deeper, truth. At this stage, the focus shifts. It's no longer about being the biggest name on the poster. It's about making work that means something. They've mastered the machinery of Hollywood. Now they want to master themselves. Tom Hanks made this leap when he moved from Sleepless in Seattle to Philadelphia. He left behind the comfort of rom-com charm to embody raw humanity and moral courage. That choice didn't just earn him an Oscar, it completely redefined who he was. Hanks stopped being America's sweetheart and became America's conscience. Heath Ledger did the same, in the boldest way possible. After years of being cast as the handsome rebel, he became something else entirely, the Joker. It was chaos, method, and pure immersion. He didn't just play the character, he disappeared into it. That role proved that risk isn't a gamble when it's grounded in truth. And even in death, Ledger's performance remains a reminder that art can outlive the artist. Then there's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Once known as the sitcom kid, he dove headfirst into darkness with Mysterious Skin, a film so raw, so unflinching, that it rewrote how people saw him. It wasn't comfortable, it wasn't commercial, but it was real. And that's the point. The artistic stage isn't about chasing applause anymore, it's about chasing meaning. Every choice, every performance becomes a conversation with the audience, and sometimes with themselves. They start producing, directing, and even writing, creating instead of performing. Because once you've conquered the spotlight, the only thing left worth exploring is the shadow. And here's the truth. Very few make it here, and even fewer stay. Because in the next stage, it's not about fame anymore, it's about endurance. And only those who evolve can survive it. Stage 6, the veteran stage. By this point, the actor isn't chasing roles anymore. The roles chase them. They've survived the trends, the gossip cycles, the studio reboots, and the endless waves of newcomers. The flash of fame has cooled into something far more valuable. Respect. These are the actors who no longer need to prove anything. They walk onto a set and the energy shifts. Every glance, every silence, every word carries the gravity of decades spent mastering the art. Denzel Washington lives in this space effortlessly. He doesn't audition for roles. Roles reshape themselves to fit him. Watch Fences or The Tragedy of Macbeth, and you'll see it. A performer who no longer performs. He commands stillness like most actors command motion. That's not charisma, that's presence. And presence only comes with time. Then there's Tom Hanks, once the wide-eyed everyman, now the elder statesman of Hollywood. In Captain Phillips or A Man Called Otto, he proves that emotional truth doesn't need volume, just honesty. Hanks has become what his early characters were searching for, wisdom. He no longer plays the dreamer, he is the mentor. At this stage, fame feels smaller, but the impact feels larger. These veterans don't chase relevance, they define it. They pick projects that mean something, mentor rising stars, and sometimes even step behind the camera to guide the next generation. Their faces may age, but their work, it matures like film stock, richer, deeper, and impossible to replicate. Because legacy isn't about staying famous, it's about staying respected. And yet, even legends can't outrun time, because the next stage is where the spotlight dims and the myth begins to form. Stage 7, the echo stage. This is the unavoidable end of every Hollywood story. The cameras stop, the red carpets roll up, and what's left behind isn't the fame, it's the echo. Some actors fade quietly into nostalgia, others become timeless. Their faces, their lines, their moments, they outlive the industry that created them. Marlon Brando didn't just act, he rewrote the language of acting, first with A Streetcar Named Desire, then again with The Godfather. Every generation since has been chasing his shadow. Even decades after his death, his name isn't just remembered, it's revered. Al Pacino and Robert De Niro stand as twin monuments of cinematic mastery. Together, they defined what intensity means on screen. The Godfather Part 2, Heat, The Irishman. These aren't just movies, they're historical landmarks, pieces of film that became culture. And then there's Heath Ledger, the artist who never got to finish his story. His Joker wasn't just a role, it was a rupture in pop culture. It changed how the world viewed comic book villains and maybe even how we viewed actors themselves. His death froze him at his peak, forever young, forever haunting. Ledger didn't complete the cycle, but he reached its end all the same. Because this stage isn't about relevance. It's not even about remembrance. It's about erosion. How time slowly sands down fame until only the art remains. Most moviegoers today know Tom Holland, but not Marlon Brando. They quote Ledger's Joker, but don't know who Tab Hunter was. The industry forgets quickly, but film remembers differently. Immortality in Hollywood isn't given. It's earned, frame by frame, choice by choice. And only a select few ever reach the summit where fame becomes myth. Every Hollywood career is a loop, from anonymity to fame and back again. The lucky ones survive it, the great ones redefine it, but the rare few, the Pacinos, the Brandos, the Ledgers, they escape it entirely. They don't just make movies, they become them. So here's the question. Which current actor do you think will survive the cycle? And which one do you think is already fading?